Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, all honor, all glory to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, Harakak Wadash. I want to give double honors to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, GMS, that rule well. Those are the true prophets of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, if you want to believe that or not. Okay? And peace, love, and salutations to the elect of the true nation of Israel, Yasharallah. Okay? Topic of this lesson is going to be about when Christians are like or Israelites really, not Christians, but when these people that say they know the Lord, all right, say, oh bro, that's religion, man, get out of that, that's religion, you're coming from religion, man, and I'm gonna tackle that topic, man, because we're not a religion, but we're religious, man. All right, and I'm gonna get into the meaning of religion. All right, okay, all right, because these men, all right, they really don't even know what they're talking about, man. Because ultimately, they don't like the order. They don't like coming up under men of the Lord, all right, and having to answer to the Lord's men. Okay, they like to do their own thing, be free-willed, self-willed Israelites. Okay, they don't know the order of the Lord. It's the Most High, it's Yahweh Shai, and His men, His elect, who've been laboring in this truth before you were born, man. All right, before I was even born, man. All right, you didn't find this truth out on your own. It wasn't up to you and your strength and your mights and your wits, ability to think and search information out, that you came to the conclusion that the Lord's name is Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai. No, man, you learn this truth by watching the Lord's prophets on YouTube, or out there on the highways and hedges, in the streets, in the corners, the gates of the city, man. All right, I didn't figure out this truth on my own. All right, it's through the spirit and power of Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, that He raised up His prophets, His men. All right, and His true prophets, all right, they start with the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone on down. All right, I learned all that I know about about these scriptures from those men. Okay, it wasn't on my own, so that's why we give double honors to to the apostles and the elders of Great Millstone, the men who've been laboring in this truth before us. Are they, because hey, they've been in this truth before the internet was about. All right. They had to go to libraries and seek out books and do things the old-fashioned way, which were hard. It was hard back then, man. Shoot, now we all got a smartphone, got the internet. You could just search up any question and bang, there's right there. Back then, they had to literally walk to the library, take a bus. All right, New York is a big ass city. All right, and go to the library every day, and read, do things the old-fashioned way, which took longer, man. All right, that's why we give double honors to them. All right, they didn't figure out this truth on their own. Okay, they found out the truth through men before them. Okay, even Abba Bivens. All right, he didn't figure out the truth on his own. All right, okay, he learned through men before him, man. Okay, but he's the one that started the basis of this One West doctrine. Okay, it wasn't him, all right, but it wasn't him who we all learned from him. He just woke up one day or had a dream or a vision. All right, he might have had a couple of visions and dreams. All right, the Lord chose him to start this thing, this truth. All right, in this time, all right, on this side in the 60s, man, in the early 70s. Okay, all right, but he also learned his information and his knowledge from men before him. Okay. The Lord didn't just give him all his knowledge to him, bang, right there. He had a vision in the middle of the day in his room, and bang, and now he knows this whole truth. Fuck, man, why people gotta fucking bother me, man? Stop, yeah. So yeah, man, but these jakes, I was watching GMS South Carolina 08, and he was going into this dude, this youngin, he doesn't even have facial hair on, on him, because he's that young, doesn't know better. All right. Saying that the Lord ain't dealing with, the Spirit of the Lord isn't dealing with these camps. Okay. All right. You got to do this thing on your own. All right. And really, a man like that doesn't want to come under the order of the Lord. They don't like answering to other men. All right. The men of the Lord. All right. They want to do their own thing. Okay. Ultimately, they don't got the whole truth, man. All right. They heard some things from other camps that's outside of GMS, or some things from GMS, and they didn't like them, and they got their feelings hurt, because they have to cut their hair a certain way. They can't get tattoos, or they can't smoke weed, or they can't take psychedelic mushrooms, or they can't freaking be adulterous or adulterous, Sakya, They can't be a certain way. They have to come to camp. They have to keep certain laws and commandments, and they didn't like that, because this thing comes with order, and the Lord is dealing with order. All right. The Lord ain't no free, do whatever you want. That's the spirit of the world. That's the spirit of Satan. All right. The spirit of Satan is do what thou wilt, do what you want. And that's not the Lord. Okay. That's the spirit that these men come in. But the Lord ain't dealing with camps, No, yeah, he is dealing with camps. And he's dealing with a particular camp. Not all of them, but a particular one. And that's the men of GMS and the affiliates of GMS. Okay. So, and another thing, it was like a month or two ago, but back to the Highways and Byways live lesson that I did a couple months ago. And these Issacharite, it was 2 Issacharite girls and an Issacharite guy. All right. He came to me with that same thing, man. Oh, that's religion, bro. And I had no answer at the time, because I wasn't really studied into the topic, specifically like the definition of religion, but I know what he meant. I'm like, hey, man, the Lord's dealing with camps. All right, he's dealing with certain men. All right, and I told him that. Hey, I learned this thing from the Lord's holy men, his prophets. I didn't learn this on my own, because I know what he meant. The Lord's dealing with structure. Okay, a righteous structure, a righteous order. It's not just anything by chance, man. Okay, the Lord has set up prophets and elders, all right, holy men before you, and you have to honor them, all right, just like you honor your father and your grandpa and your grandma and your mother, all right, because they were here before you. Okay, that's the spirit of the Lord. So this is the definition of religion. It says the belief in and worship of a superhuman power or powers, especially a god or gods. Do you not believe in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the Most High and His only begotten Son? I do. So this is, technically a religion, but not the religions of this world, like Catholicism and mainstream Christianity and Buddhism. We're not that, but this is the 100% truth. This is the religion. Okay, we're not, one of those. This isn't no thing that we accept everybody. No, and that's what they mean. That's what these Jakes, these Israelites mean. They think that we're compromised by Esau. IUIC is, ISUPK is, Sakari is, but we're not. All right, I'm talking about the men of GMS and the affiliates of GMS, man. Okay, we're coming straight, cold, hard. From uncut from the Lord, man. From Yahweh Shem Yahushai. It says a particular system of faith and worship. Okay. All right. A pursuit or interest to which someone ascribes to supreme importance. All right. We truly believe that Yahweh Shem Yahushai, that's our Lord and Savior, man. We worship the Lord, man. All right, and His only begotten Son. All right, so the origin of religion. All right, religio. All right, it came from Latin. All right, it says religere. All right, religare, right, to bind, all right, and then religo, all right, obligation, bond, reverence, okay, and then now religion, life under messianic vows, all right, okay, so to bind, that's where that word comes from, all right, it means to bind, obligation, bond, all right, and we have a bond, all right, this brotherhood under and of the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, all right. So the Lord ain't dealing with like just one man, all right, or half truths, all right. The Lord has multiple names. No, the Lord has one name. It's Yahweh, and His only begotten Son's name is Yahweh Shai. Okay. Because you other Israelites who have that, who come in that spirit, oh, that's religion, bro. Y'all aren't in one like mind. Y'all aren't in one mind. One of y'all call the Lord Yeshua. The next one calls him Jesus. The next one calls him Yeshaya or Jehovah or whatever. Yahushua. Y'all do not come under in the same like mind. All right. Y'all are just doing your own thing singularly, man. You guys aren't bound together, all right, under one doctrine, under one mindset, one truth, which is only one truth. And when you and that's what the Lord has done. He's binded his men, his chosen men, all right, his elect, into one knowledge, one agreement, one truth. And the truth is, there's only one truth, man, all right. 1 + 1 will always equal 2. Okay, it will never equal 5, 8, 2.5. No, okay. So the Lord has to be dealing with you for you to find out that the Lord is dealing with one camp, and that's the men of GMS, and that's you have to be in the spirit to know that, man. All right. Okay. And ultimately, if you've been watching GMS, you'll find that out, man. But only the elect, which have been chosen from the beginning of time and have been with the Lord from the beginning of time, will understand this information that I'm telling you, man. Okay. Proverbs 6:20. It says, "My son, keep thy father's commandment and forsake not thy law of thy mother. Bind them continually upon thine heart and tie them about thy neck." Okay. All right, so yeah, this is a religion. This is the religion. All right, the true religion, one truth, the truth of the scriptures. All right, see you other Israelites who say, "Oh, that's religion." You guys don't come with the whole scriptures, man. All right, you pick and choose what you want to believe and what scriptures you want to read. Y'all don't even know the whole scriptures, man. The whole Bible. Okay, you ignore certain scriptures. All right, you read from other books outside the Bible, so you're not in that bond. You're not bonded to the Lord, all right? And it proves because you say, "Oh, that's religion," but yeah, it is religion, man. Well, what's the problem? We're not the religion of the world. We're not an evil religion. We're not a false religion, all right? We're the religion, all right? From Yahweh Shem Yahushai. And I don't say that proudly. I say that, humbly and, in the spirit of the Lord, man. Yahweh Shem Yahushai. All right. Proverbs 7:1, it says, "My son, keep my words and lay up my commandments with thee. Keep my commandments and live in my law as the apple of thine eye." Verse 3, "Bind them upon thy fingers. Write them upon the table of thine heart." Okay. And you Jakes, you don't keep the commandments of the Lord, man. All right. Okay. You don't observe the whole law. All right. I'm not saying you have to keep the whole law perfectly. Hey, you have to try though. Okay. But you guys, you're not bound in the spirit of the Lord, man. All right. Oh, that's religion. This is Ecclesiastes 4:9. It says, "Two are better than one, because they have a good reward for their labor." All right. You know, you Jakes who it's good to be in the Lord is dealing with camps, man. All right. And it proves Ecclesiastes 4:9, 2 are better than 1, you know. All right. The scriptures say, you know, where there's 2 or more men in the Lord's name, you know, that's where he is. Okay. The Lord ain't dealing with one man. All right. You know, you gotta be in this thing by yourself. You gotta be a lone wolf in this thing. No, that's not the spirit of Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai. The Lord is dealing with a brotherhood, men. All right, a group, not groups, but a group. All right, you know, and that's the men of GMS. All right. Did I want anything? Let me get this. Isaiah 30:20 says, and though the Lord give you the bread of adversity and the water of affliction, yet shall not thy teachers be removed into a corner anymore, but thine eyes shall see thy teachers. All right, you can't teach yourself this truth, man. All right, all the knowledge and understanding that this Jake right here has learned, he learned it from men, the men of GMS, Slakia, the men of the Lord. He didn't learn it on his own. He didn't learn the name of Yahweh and Yahweh Shai. Just out of nowhere, he woke up. He had a dream, and the Lord showed him those names. No. Even Abba Bivens, he did his research. All right, and he learned from men before him, and that name was hidden in secret, man. All right, and there was men before him in Abba Bivens. You know, they went into the Hebrew. They went back. You know, they sought out the knowledge of the ancient, and bang, the Lord has given them the true name of it, his true name, Yahweh and Yahweh Shai, and that information, and you know that those names have carried on through the Lord's elect, the men of GMS and the followers of GMS. If you endure to the end and keep those names, okay. So this little Jake right here, and other Jakes, you know, that come in the same spirit. Oh, that's religion. Hey, the things that you learned. All right, you learn those from the Lord's men, other men. You didn't learn it on your own, man. And if you say that you did, hey, that's a lie, and the Lord ain't dealing with you. All right, okay, because the Lord ain't dealing with one singular man. Okay. Cannot accept. Acts 8:31, it says, and he said, how can, Acts 8:30 says, and Philip ran thither to him, and heard him read the prophet Esaias, and said, understandest thou what thou readest? All right. So when you read the scriptures, do you understand what you're reading? All right. When you seek the Lord, do you understand, you know, the knowledge that's given to you, man? All right. It says, and he said, how can I, except some man should guide me? And desired Philip that he would come up and sit with him. Right? And Jakes like this, Israelites like this, are not in that spirit. They're not seeking out instruction and knowledge. All right, from other men. They're trying to do it on their own. All right. And really, they're doing it by watching those men on YouTube. They just don't want to come up under a camp. All right, and take orders from other men. All right, because they want to do their own thing. All right, they want to go out there and prophesy whenever they want to. All right, they want to do videos when they want to. You know, they want to do things their way. All right. So hope this was edifying to you. Like, until next time.